Hi guys, how are you today? Welcome. I'm in a little new area here. I had to switch it up today, so yeah, let's get started. So today I want to talk to you about something I'm calling consistent battles. I just went through a season that just taught me so much about this again and really put in perspective to me again just kind of like our faith and why it's important that we actually do go through times of suffering and hardship and trials and things that push us and kind of, really press in on us and why it's important to go through that. And so I just want to share some of that with you today. I'm calling it Faith Practice Ready. So to me, it's like anything, whether you want to be a good athlete or you want to be a doctor or you want to get anything that really requires you to be consistent to get good at something. It's the same with our faith. I mean, if we really want our faith to be so refined that no matter what comes our way, that we know that we can, as Paul calls us to, stand firm, then we actually need to go through seasons that we're put through a series of events that require us to practice. And this past season that I just went through, I just felt like it was just, for us at first, what it was sickness. We just went through a bout of sickness in our home with my kids and my husband. All of us got sick. And we would end one sickness, and literally, I'm not kidding you, the next day, we would be done with one sickness, and the next day, someone would get sick with a whole new thing, whether it be ear infections, or colds, or flu, or just something completely unrelated to the last. And we went from thing to thing to thing, and I spent probably about 2 months in and out of the doctor's office, and that's not normal for us. We don't get sick very often in my home. I really try to just pray against it and keep it out. I don't want anything to do with it. But this wasn't that season, and I was praying and I was standing in faith every single day, and I was, anointing people with oil, and I was doing all these things, but it wouldn't lift. And it honestly got to the point, it was like months, and it got to the point where I just began to laugh. I said, oh my gosh, like, I'm not even surprised anymore. I'm not. Like, this is just, honestly, I have to laugh because it's so consistent. But at the same time, guys, as I was in it, it was extremely hard. I was tired. I was worn out. I had been sick myself. In the same season, at the same time, I had all these other external pressures, whether it be like stress at work, stress with other relationships. I was working through a lot of relational stuff where it was just high stress in the fact that I had to really concentrate on working things out, communicating well, being aware of my emotional state, really self-reflecting and being like, do I need to walk in forgiveness right now? How can I be more kind to this person? How do I take an account for the things that I've done wrong and keep myself accountable to that? And that was just the season that I was in. And so it was layer upon layer. It was sickness upon sickness. And then it was stress upon stress. And they just kept coming. And finally I got to the point where God was just reminding me that, if you really mean what you pray, if you really stand the way you say you can stand, and if you want to mature in your faith to a certain degree, then you have got to learn how to take these in stride as the hits keep coming, one after the other. You don't even get a day's break. You don't even get a moment to calm down, but you just walk in stride, and your faith doesn't change. Our faith is supposed to be consistent. Life goes like this, but our faith stays level through it all. And why does it stay level? Because we're connected to Jesus, because we're connected to that vine. We've connected with Christ, and we just stay connected in Him. And no matter what comes our way, we stay in communion with Him, right? And so, but I have to say in my honesty that these things were coming, and it was like taking its toll on me. And I would be frustrated. I'd be frustrated with God. I'd be like, why aren't my prayers working? Why aren't people getting healed? Why is there just so much? Why all this at one time? And God just really made me realize that, look, if you want to get good, you got to practice. And the only way you can practice is if I consistently give you back-to-back opportunity to try it. Does that make sense? So we have to have consistent back-to-back opportunity to try out what we've learned, what we've matured in, what we've progressed in, because without that, we actually don't get the opportunity to become good at what we're trying to be good at. Does that make sense? If I'm an athlete, if I want to be good at a certain sport, I'm going to stay in the gym. I'm going to push and push. I'm going to practice the game. I'm going to do, all sorts of things. We're going to practice plays. We're going to practice possibilities, and we're going to stay at it, and we're going to stick to it. And whenever you look back and talk to anyone who has been successful in a sport, or anything for that matter, they say they've been consistent their all, time in, time again, that they were in the gym early and they left the gym late. They did 3 days or whatever, and they really were consistent. This was their life. They gave their all to it. And so that has to be us. 4 seasons, right? It's not forever, but for seasons, we need to be put into a refining process. And it's the refining fire. Sometimes I've heard it called where we're lit up on fire, to bring up the impurities, like gold. They put it in the fire to bring up the impurities, and we should move those away so that we have the refined gold. That is the process. We have to stay in the fire. We have to go through these seasons God just gives us one thing after another, layer upon layer upon layer of trial, tribulation, suffering, things that really stretch us. And I honestly felt like in this season, it was like everything was just like crushing in. Like, God, if you do anything more, I'm literally going to crush under this. I'm at my point right now, God. Like, really, do you think I can handle this? And he says he won't give anything to us that we can't handle. But there's really a purpose in it. And I have to say, after coming through that actually I honestly do believe my faith grew stronger. I am matured in my faith in the process, and I actually got to a point where it wasn't just that I laughed at the fact that I had a new sickness. It was the fact that I actually believed that regardless of whether God healed this one or not, he is faithful no matter what. He is still God no matter what. He is still who he says he is no matter what. It's not going to shake me today. I'm not going to let insecurity and anxiety creep in and get the better of me where I overreact and get short with people. No, today my faith remains that God is good, that he has my intention for good at hand, that he will be faithful even in this, and I can trust him with that. And as I walk in that, no matter what's brought to me today, I can approach it in his grace and in his love and his mercy, that I am able to get through this, and I will. And I'm going to get through the other side. And fear's not going to have the better of me today. I'm not going to get so afraid that I can't function well, that I can't make good decisions, that I don't still be kind, that I don't still be slow. And so that's what he taught me through that. Someone else who can relate to this, let's quick get in the word for the last minute of this. Philippians 3, verse 13 to 14, Paul says this, "But one thing I do, forgetting what is behind me and straining toward what is ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." No matter what he was doing, it was always, I'm going towards a goal. I'm headed towards a prize. He had the focus in mind. It's not about this trial I'm in, but it's where God's taking me, and nothing's going to take me off that. The second one, quick flipping over the page, Philippians 4, 12 to 13. "I know what it is to be in need. I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do everything through him who gives me strength." And so the only way Paul could have ever learned that was to actually go through seasons where he had nothing and go through seasons where he had everything. And So that's the same with us. You know, if you need to know how, like, Jesus becomes your strength, if you need to know how, no matter what, in plenty or in nothing, I have all I need through Christ who strengthens me. God has got you to put you through these things to mature you in your faith, to know whether you have much or whether you have little. He's the same God, and you learn how to walk into it by practicing, getting ready, and being prepared so that your faith is refined. So I'm out of time today, but I just want to bless you with that, encourage you with that. Keep going, keep fighting, keep standing in your faith. Let the trials come. Take them as joy, count them as joy, and understand that you're becoming a maturing, refined, practiced, ready, superstar individual for Christ, and He will make you there. He will get you there, I promise. Bless you guys. Have a good day.